So quiet.
Yeah.
Well, Billy's got to start it. Let's go, Billy.
Yes, sir. We should be good to go.
So how many super matches are there?
Looks like we'll have 16.
16 super matches?
16 super matches.
Billy's got to start it. Let's go, Billy.
So where in this lineup are me and Dave?
You and Dave are at the very end. You're the grand finale.
Oh my. So I get to stay in my bed for another couple hours before I show up.
If that helps, yeah. Yeah.
See, yeah, well, it will, because if I sit there for 16 matches, I'll be sleeping by the time I pull Dave.
I'll tell you what, for you, we'll bring a bed in. You can just sleep in the back somewhere.
I watched Ron Bath pull Matt Mask at UAO5, and I'm not lying to you, but he was taking naps in a lazy boy in between rounds. Or they did a tournament or whatever. You know, he went out in a lazy boy. He was laying by himself in a lazy boy.
I got him. I get bored. It's one thing if you're just there watching them, but when you got to get ready for your match and you got to sit there for hours on end, it gets long.
Well, I heard that they might run 3 tables, so it might go quick, right, Marshall?
Yeah, we're going to blow through them pretty fast.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'd rather be 5 minutes early than 5 minutes late, you know, as far as the start time goes too.
I like that attitude.
So me and Ron are last. What starts at 1? What would you be your estimation time for our match, you think?
3.
I would say an hour and 15 minutes, and we'll be up to you.
Oh shit, that ain't bad at all.
Nope.
If you can do it, even 2 hours wouldn't be bad. Go to East versus West. You start at 8, 9 o'clock, and you don't get done till 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to tag the thing in here, but it's not letting me do it. It's trying to tag the event on Facebook, but I'm just going to tag Marshall. All right, Marshall, I tagged you and then posted it to Facebook. You can share it.
Okay.
All right.
You just going to tag us all, Marshall?
Yeah, I can do that.
I tried to tag the event and just put it in the description, but it wasn't.
Brawl, Mega Brawl lead up. I see. I just shared it. My page said live now.
Yep.
Is it up on yours, Dave?
I just put up on mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Should be. Share it to a group. All right. Should be good to go.
Starting now?
It's up to you guys. If you want to share some more, go ahead and do that. If not, you can.
I could start it off by telling how the super match happened. Me and Ron, if you want.
So let's start off, Marshall, if you would. Let's go over the origins of the tournament and the super matches. You kind of want to go over how that got started. What was your thought process on that and everything?
Yeah, well, it's it's become an annual tournament. If you're going to have a tournament, you might as well have a good tournament. I like to see some good super matches at a tournament. It's kind of it's almost a customary or standard thing to do that. So we opened it up for people to, to participate. So we've got 16 matches, and then about the first 10 of those are an undercard, and that kind of just gives people a chance who are maybe local or don't get a lot of chances to have a super match to jump in on a good size event with a pretty stacked main card. So personally, when I hold a tournament, I like to see a good main card. It's important to me, and if I can't do that, then I probably just won't have tournaments. It's probably the only thing that I do well. Everybody does things better than me otherwise. So the origin of it being an annual tournament, we just kind of decided to just have this tournament up here because we had kind of a hole in the market where there weren't any tournaments initially, and it's kind of just grown from there.
Yeah. Well, that sounds nice. How about your thought process on bringing in the bigger names? Welcome, Brandon. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Brandon. Bringing in the bigger names, I think that really adds something to arm wrestling. Not just the bigger names, but guys from further away. I really like to see matches happen that just have a lot of resistance to happening or have no reason to happen because people are separated by 1,000 miles sometimes. So initially what I saw with tournaments was a lot of matches where you'd see kind of the same guys always having a match. Maybe this guy was from this county over yonder, and this guy was from that county over yonder, and they were 50, 60, 100 miles apart or something like that. But I think it's really cool to mix it up, and bring people in from out of town. So our tournament really specializes in getting people from different areas to come together for a tournament. Of course, we have our local people too, but it really adds character to a tournament to bring people in from further away.
Yeah, a lot of the times I find the newer guys that are not going to have a real opportunity to really meet these legends of the sport, as Mr. Ron Bath and Mr. Bill Ballinger. Maybe they might not have had the opportunity to actually watch these guys pull. So it's really nice for the newer guys to have that opportunity.
Sure, that's definitely what we're selling with this tournament is the opportunity to be up close and maybe even arm wrestle with some of these guys, and you can find out pros versus Joes. You can find out where you're at, and you can find out why these guys are the pros and why the rest of us aren't.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and go over your super matches. Do you have your list there of your matches?
I do. So we've got I've got them in order actually, and this is going to be the order that the matches are in the day of. But we've got Tim Lewis and Will Callahan starting us out, and everybody kind of knows Tim Lewis. He gets around. He's probably got experience with every tournament, with every tournament promoter, with every. Oh
yeah.
I just wrapped him this weekend. Now I'm going to see him again this weekend.
Right. Yeah, I mean he gets around, so we'll always have him as long as it fits into his schedule. We've got Greg Stover and Brian Vollmer, a couple of local guys in the 242s. Leah Hennessy and Dina Hayes, good female match. Stephen Perez and Mike Innes. Stephen, he's been coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah, he has.
He's real strong, and Mike is very elusive because he has an unorthodox style. You don't expect him to do what he does and as fast as he does it, so it'll be a good match. We've got Drew Hollinger versus Mike Lance, and that's kind of pitting Ohio and Michigan against each other.
Yep.
And then Tim Lewis will be coming back with the other hand against Phoenix Brulio. I'm not sure how his last name's pronounced, but he's been coming up fast in Michigan. Greg Stover again, the other hand with Rich Gasky, and two guys that have been around, for a while there.
What arm is that match?
That is a right.
That's a right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we've got Jeff Wilkinson. I guess he's probably Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And Gage Black, who's a local guy here.
Yep.
So that's a good match. And then we've got Damon Ransom and Tim Mary out of Michigan. And everybody kind of knows Damon. He's got a pretty good presence on social media, but he'll be coming up for a match. And that's the end of the undercard. Then we get into the main card, and we'll be opening up with Bill Ballinger and Greg Arnold. Then we'll go
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, Joel Hudick versus Jason Skoke, and Craig Sublier and J. Rob, BJ Fokakis and Sonny Gay, and then Brandon Elsesser and Urbano Ponce.
Yep.
And then Dave and Ron would be last.
Gotcha. Bill, Mr. Bill Ballinger, how do you feel your chances are against the young stud, Mr. Greg Arnold? Do you like your chances? I mean, he's an elusive puller. He knows how to pull in every single place.
It says Bill has a low network bandwidth is low. I don't know if I can't hear Bill. Can you guys hear him?
Yeah. No, I'm not getting Bill very well.
So
I think there's a little bit of history with this match, just to kind of fill in while Bill's connection sorts itself out. There's a little bit of history here. I think Bill has a win on Greg, and Greg's maybe looking for a little revenge.
Oh, nice.
Bill, you connected to
Bill,
Wi-Fi?
I think your connection's a little messy.
You got Wi-Fi on, Bill, or you got your regular cell on or something?
Yeah, I should.
That's all right. We'll get to it. What was the next match after Bill and Greg?
After Bill and Greg, we've got Joel and Jason. And, I'm not familiar with Jason, but he's got a win on Joel. And anybody that's got a win on Joel at 198 is doing something right. Joel, we all know he's been around. He's kind of this innocent looking guy, but he pulls like a freight train. So, I don't know what's going to happen with this match. Obviously, both of those guys know a little bit more than they did the last time. And I think Joel is going to be wanting to correct whatever it was that he did wrong last time. So apparently Jason's the real deal.
Yeah, I don't know who Jason is. Looks like Bill's trying to figure it out there.
Brandon's working out.
He's always working out.
I was just getting ready. We were having a meeting, and then I seen the messenger pop up, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, if I was 25, I'd be working out too.
How old are you, Brandon?
I'll be in more pain if I. But
Brandon, what's your age?
Who's asking the age?
32.
You're 32.
Nice.
Yep.
He's got a few more years to get stronger.
Prime age. Yeah.
That's why I gotta keep training while I can.
Oh yeah. Rule of the thumb is 40's the year.
I think it is
the way to go.
That's what I'm betting on. That's what
I'm 43.
It might not be the same now, but it used to be. By the time you hit 40, your tendons are good and strong. You're getting, my best years were my upper 30s and 40s.
I'm looking forward to it. That's what I've always heard when I started. So, yeah.
And then, Ron, you started arm wrestling in what, your early 20s?
Me, 18.
Boom. Look at that.
It'll be, 44 years ago?
Amazing.
How do you think the whole gist of the sport has changed, or has it changed in your eyes in those 43 years?
There's a lot that's changed, but not in a lot of different areas. Social media has definitely helped it out a lot because you got your newcomers coming in and they already know a lot because they've been watching it on social media. unfortunately, they watch some of the bad guys with poor experience, styles. But they're coming along a lot more. Plus, when you're watching social media all the time, it keeps you in the loop all the time, and you're always seeing so it motivates you for practice. Back in the day when I was 18 in my young 20s, you got a magazine every 6 months. So you really, to stay motivated, you had your family life and everything else. That took you away from it a good bit. So, and then styles, it used to be a lot more hooking. About the time I got in, they were just starting to develop a top roll. More people were starting to do it. And now we see, they're just looking at the different angles, the different trajectories. There's getting to be a little more into it, a little more intense. And but I think if you took the best from, let's say, the 70s and 80s and put them on the same playing field as the best of today, same year, same style, same workout, same proteins, you wouldn't see a great deal of difference.
Gotcha.
Well, there's some theories too. People say that people just used to be stronger in general, the grip strength and everything else.
Well, if you look at all the history, our testosterone counts, us old men had higher when we were younger than you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's the truth. It's the truth. We didn't have all the stuff in the house, computer games and everything. I mean, if my dad came home, we were in the house, you were in trouble. He found chores for you. So we found outdoor stuff. You could be out throwing logs in the woods for all he cared. He didn't care. Just be out of the house.
Yeah.
So we, everything we did was physical as kids. So I think that has a lot to do with it, is we didn't have all the attractions in the house and just, using our fingers.
I think that just stopped in like the late 90s as soon as technology started putting their hooks into the youth. Right after I graduated, it just seemed like it was just going.
Now to go on the other side of that, I think, when all the computer games and all that took control, a lot of them lost a little focus on going outside and getting good workouts. But now arm wrestling's become more popular, and it's on social media. If you notice, we have a lot more kids. I see a lot more 14, 15, 16-year-olds coming out in the States, which we need, that are actually training to be arm wrestling. They realize they didn't like other sports. So hopefully it helps us all, because we got to start picking up the game to keep up with the East guys.
Whenever we have a public practice, they're all about it. Everybody wants to try it. Everybody wants to get in. Some are a little bashful, but they come around.
Let me tell you guys a little kind of, not a quick story, but my wife, she works at an elementary school. And I tell you, the kids in the elementary school, that's all they want to do. These little boys, that's all they want to do is arm wrestle. And my wife knows enough about arm wrestling to see these kids just wanting to do this. And she's like, stop, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that concept will never go away.
No.
Don't arm wrestle, you're going to break your arm. Yeah.
I told the school not too long ago, I told them, I said, you guys want to, actually show the kids how to actually arm wrestle, just let me know and I'll come in and teach them. But I don't think they don't necessarily, they just don't want kids arm wrestling in school. So
my first official competition was sort of like a half-ass thing during a Phi Ed class. It was arm wrestling.
Nice.
We didn't have a table. We just did it on the bleachers in the gym. But yeah, that was my first actual that I remember arm wrestling on. I think it was the following fall. I just graduated and I saw a tournament and I went.
Cool. Bill, can you hear us this time? Yep. Still got the same connection, Bill. We can't hear you. Cutting out real bad.
Might just be a connection speed issue there.
Possibly. But no, there was something else I was going to ask you about that, Ron, about old versus new. Like, say somebody in the sport 6 months. Like, how do you see the trajectory, the quickness of ability between 0 months to 6 months then versus now. Like, I think it's just the amount of information that people can absorb in such a short amount of time, like you said earlier, with technology.
Yeah. All right, if we want to do this, all right, take a 15-year-old from in the 80s, all right? Or I take myself at 18 in 1980 versus an 18-year-old who just decided to arm wrestle today. I would have to say I would beat him, but he would probably be more knowledgeable. If you could take my 18-year-old self from 1980, bring it here to a current 18-year-old, the 18-year-old might be smarter, but if we both had the same time in the sport, like 6 months, I physically would probably be stronger, but he'd be smarter.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that.
Everybody has more access to data now. There's 1,000 things you can look up, and you didn't really have that in the past. You couldn't watch Devin Lorette arm wrestle unless you went and actually saw him arm wrestle.
True that. Yep. But
Craig,
who wants
welcome
to
to the
Devin
show.
Lorette and watch Ron Bell?
Hey, thank you, guys.
Yeah. Hi, Craig.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Craig, we're talking about old days versus new days.
Okay.
You've been in the sport a while, haven't you?
Like 12 years now, so I feel like I'm still a rookie though, because I'm like constantly learning stuff. So, but like I heard what Ron was saying about, the kids getting involved at a younger age now, and I see a lot more younger guys getting involved, especially locally in Florida here. We got a bunch of new kids that are really gravitating to the sport, which is really exciting, and a lot of really excellent talent. It's incredible to see how Marshall was just talking about how we have more ability to learn more with YouTube and a lot of different people sharing their training techniques and stuff. So I feel like a youngster now can evolve in the sport in a couple years and really get to that elite level.
Oh, for sure. There's been people that have came to our practices that never watched anything. They just saw a post on Facebook, arm wrestling. Okay, I want to check it out. And then you got the guys that show up for the first time, also that have done their homework, that have been watching YouTube videos for the last, 3 weeks, planning to come to the practice. And then the first time that they get on the table, they're like trying to top roll and stuff like, oh, they finally, they're actually doing a little bit of homework before they even show up.
How many of you veterans actually forget everything that you know when you come to the table still, even after all these many years? Like you get to the table and you're like, man, I knew better. I totally screwed that up. I've been doing this 10 years and I still went up and I made a rookie mistake.
I've been doing it 40 years and I don't know what a rookie is. I still make mistakes. I don't know. See, the only thing I can do now is get smarter because I'm still one of the dumbest arm wrestlers out there.
I learn something new every day, but I forget what I learned the day before.
Yeah. That's the problem with just being brute strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I see. I want to point out one other thing too. Like Ron was saying earlier, the amount of testosterone that people lack of now, I think, the amount of information that they have to bring in, has to make up for the lack of testosterone, so new guys now have to learn so fast that, if there's, an older guy that might have just got started, like, his testosterone level is probably, 200 points higher than the kids.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that is lifestyle. Like there could be some huge discrepancies in levels amongst people based on their background. You still have some real blue collar guys doing hard labor, and arm wrestling may almost be a walk in the park for them.
It's all about your lifestyle. I think as a young kid, your lifestyle has a lot to do with it. If you come from a very physical youth, you're going to be naturally more stronger right out of the box. Well, even if you're not like an athlete or something, a young kid that's being athletic his whole life, compared to just one that just decides one day to get into it. Definitely.
Maybe a degree of being stubborn too. because you have to survive those first years where arm wrestling really sucks. It hurts and you lose a lot and all these things. And if you're stubborn enough, on top of just being strong, you can kind of push through that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a gentleman come through practice. He's just starting out. He does concrete, and first practice, holy moly, man! You can tell he worked with his hands, just super strong hands. But the second practice, he's still hurting from the first practice, so it wasn't nearly what it was. But my hat was off to him. He just, man, super strong. You can tell who works with manual labor and who doesn't, for sure.
Yeah, he'll come around. If he sticks with the sport, he'll come around real quick, because once that muscle memory and the pain goes away, he's going to be working his hands. I mean, I grew up doing concrete and stuff with my dad and farming and logging. So that all the stuff of arm wrestling came so natural because of what I did as a kid.
You could almost do like a whole show on arm wrestlers and their background. What was your background, and see how many of them have like the quintessential background. I was a diesel mechanic for 20 years, farmer, truck driver. It almost seems like that's just like the story you would expect to hear. But it'd be interesting just to hear all the backgrounds.
Yeah. We got another kid. He's a diesel mechanic, and man, he is so impressive with just 6 months into the sport, maybe even 3 or 4. And he can hang in there with me, and I'm like really proud of him. Really proud of him. Super strong.
He's always looking for an angle to get a little bit of leverage laying under a truck,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, who was next on the list after Bill's match there, Marshall?
Well, we have Craig and J-Rob. Okay. And
okay.
Craig's pretty well known, obviously, been around for a little while, and huge social media presence and all this. J-Rob probably a little less. He's been around. But I'd say he's popular in our area, but his thing is that he's kind of big on upsets. Like he'll arm wrestle some pretty high level guys when they come around, and he seems to do pretty well. He's got a couple gorillas from Michigan State. So it's kind of a dark horse match versus, a guy who's a little bit more well known, but probably both pretty even, strength and skill wise.
Craig, what are your thoughts on that match?
I'm excited about the match. Like it's not really in my weight class. J-Rod's a 242 guy. I think he's number 1 in Ohio. Is that right, Marshall?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's number 1 right-handed 242.
So I think that's a big challenge for me. I got a lot of data from the Mike West match because I pulled Mike a couple times, did some training with him. So I feel really good coming into this matchup. I've been really training hard. I feel so much better and so much stronger than the Roger match because I was really banged up and injured, and was really surprised that I could perform the way I did, Roger being a strong competitor. So going into this match, I feel really healthy, really rested and strong, and I'm excited. And like Marshall was saying, J-Rod, he's a, up and comer, hungry. I respect everybody that's competing. I know that, he thinks he can beat me quite obviously if he's, going to compete. So, and I respect that, so I'm just looking forward to the trip. Seeing Marshall, hanging out with the guys. I really had a great time last year, even though Brandon kicked my ass, but that was to be expected. So, but still fun. And, I got to see a lot of people. Not looking forward to the cold weather, fortunately, but, that's just the unfortunate thing about heading up to Ohio in the February.
Well, at least you were already up here once. You kind of know the lay of the land.
Exactly.
You know the travel. That's got to make it a little bit easier on you.
100%, dude. It's so much nicer to be able to go to a place where you've been before and the hospitality, and you put on an amazing event. I've traveled, all over the place, and I really enjoy your event, and you really put a lot of hard work into it. So I really appreciate being a part of it.
thanks for that, man.
Go. Nice. Go ahead, Marshall. What's your next one there, brother?
Okay, after Craig, we got BJ Fokakis and Sonny Gay. And I think everybody knows those guys, don't they? I mean, BJ's he's just this like the quintessential big Southern dude. And I feel like Sonny is just like kind of the Central American version of BJ. I feel like they're almost the same guy, similar statue, both big guys. And I couldn't even begin to get my head around this match as to say who has an advantage or whatever. I think that they're just both two big, strong, super heavyweights. And it's and I've said before, it's a dead heat until proven otherwise.
I'd agree. Yeah, that match going to depend on whoever gets their sweet spot and whoever brings it on that day. Those two are pretty even.
Some big old boys. But not the biggest. Urbano's the biggest. Brandon gets him.
I'm looking forward to it, and I like the David Goliath idea.
Yeah.
Who are you pulling? I've never heard. I'm sorry. I'm really naive. Who is the guy you're pulling? He sounds like he's supposed to be some monster, some big boy.
I never heard of him either until the last. I think it was Buckeye Brawl, right, Marshall, or was it?
Yeah. So Urbano's I believe he's in Wisconsin. Maybe it's Illinois. I'm not sure.
He trains with Chris Jellings and Pablo.
Yeah, and he's he's a big guy, but you know more than that, he's actually been very active. He goes to all the state championships, and he's been doing a lot of winning. You know, he doesn't win everything all the time, but he's so consistent that I'd never bet against him. He's obviously doing something right. Anytime you can go into a championship and come out first, second, or third almost everywhere you go, you got to be doing something right.
I see him walking in Missouri. It's like, oh my God, look at this guy. 6'6", 365 pounds.
If he's training with Pablo, then he's definitely got a good training partner.
Yep. All
right.
Chris Jellings too. There's some bad dudes in Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, the interesting thing is about this is that, you know, to find an opponent for Brandon, now you do have like this 220 thing coming up and you've got some other things going on, but to find an opponent for Brandon is not easy in his weight class. And it's not just a novelty. I mean, it is kind of a novelty to put him up against a guy who's 6'6", you know, or, you know, well over 6 foot and a bigger guy. So it is a little bit of a novelty, but it's almost just a practical thing that you have to do to find competition for him because, you know, he does a lot of winning in his own weight class. So this is going to be kind of an interesting test because, you know, Urbano, he is the Midwest points leader for last year.
Left arm.
Yeah, and he's been doing a lot of winning. So he's not just big, he's good. And obviously, you know, Brandon has been doing his fair share of winning too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I really look forward to pulling him. We met at the last Buckeye Brawl tournament that you had, and he actually got the first win on me. We both top rolled, and he ended up pinning me, and then I came back and beat him twice in the finals with a hook. So
I think I ref those matches. I think.
What's that?
I think I'm going to ref those matches. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I still remember it like it was yesterday.
You know, the thing in arm wrestling too is it's always interesting to see how people develop. Like that was only a year ago, but depending on what each guy's been doing since then, I mean, they could be completely different pullers now, just a year later. So it's almost impossible really to know who's going to do what and where each guy is at.
Yeah, a lot can change between then and now for sure. And he's got all that size too. He's got so much to gain, so much strength to gain.
There's a lot to work with there. It's got to be an advantage.
Yeah, I got to be really smart and with my directions that I'm going, and I gotta have good timing as well, and I got to be the smarter arm wrestler to win, I believe.
Yeah, and in fairness, I mean, you may not be 6'6", but you've got 350-pound arms on you. So if that matters, you know, your arms will at least be competitive with his arms.
Yeah, I got super heavyweight arms and lightweight legs.
The rest of us got a different problem. The rest of us got T-Rex arms, you know.
Yeah. So it puts me right into the middleweight category.
Wow.
Incredible.
Be interesting to watch.
What What kind of puller is it?
Huh?
Not me.
Or Urbano?
Dave would probably be able to tell you as well as anybody because he's probably the last guy that's pulled him.
I mean, I feel like the strongest thing he had was probably side pressure, in my opinion. But you know, everybody's style is different. From what I feel and what Brandon feel might be different. You know, but he's got a long arm. But he didn't post on me, so I didn't feel that.
I noticed the same thing when I arm wrestled him. He top rolled, but he set up with a lot of side pressure.
Yeah,
He can probably just kind of lean over right into you.
He probably could. If he was a shoulder presser, it'd be pretty scary.
like this Camille dude.
Yeah.
That guy's got a flop wrist press destroying everybody right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is does this Urbano press?
I haven't seen him do it.
I feel like he could.
You know, in his arsenal.
He seems like he's pretty close. Like he doesn't go all in on it, I don't think, like Mike Innes or anything like that. But he seems like he's pretty close to being able to, or if he wanted to. I just, you know, sometimes when you're that big and you're doing a lot of winning, you really don't utilize everything that you could just because you haven't had to. You know, you've just been winning a certain way, and that's been good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it should be. It should definitely be a good match. Hopefully, well, at least that's what we're hoping for, right?
I think
Brandon's hoping for a 3-0 on his way, but
Well, yeah, there's money involved.
yeah,
anything can happen.
the more and more I see all these super match cards and everything, the more and more you just see 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. But the thing is I've been telling like newer people, like, oh, they like seeing 3-2s and stuff, but it only takes this much for a guy to be a little bit better and a little bit more knowledgeable to be able to get 3 wins and to skunk the other guy. It doesn't take a whole lot more of strength and stuff just to get the 3-0 win. I mean, to go, you know, back and forth and stuff, they really got to be really close.
Yeah, maybe even similar styles or something too, because you know, what do they say? Most matches are over in less than a second. Isn't that kind of the rolling average?
Something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Crazy.
Go ahead, Marshall. What's your next one?
Well, the next and the last match actually on our main card is Dave and Ron, and you know, it's going to be an interesting match. I mean, obviously everybody knows Ron. What are we say?
I'm hitting the big weights. I'm hitting the big weights.
Shaker weight.
Yeah. Ron's taking it serious for sure.
He is doing a reverse curl, so I'm expecting a top roll. That's where it's coming.
You know, Dave's obviously been around in the sport, so it's not like he's a rookie. But compared to Ron Bath, like everybody's kind of a rookie. So you're kind of pitting. I don't know. I mean, you know, Dave's not really a spring chicken, but you're pitting a kind of a younger guy against a salty veteran,
Younger guy.
And I think that's the draw. So you've got this proven puller who's been there, done that, and he's done everything. So and he's won most of it. And this is Dave's chance to really shine, I guess. You know, he's kind of up against a wall, and we'll see what he does with it.
So how old are you, Dave?
48 in July. So I'm not a youngster.
So you would have been about 5 years old when I had my first match.
I think John Millen had it right. He said, "Old man versus the older man." What John Millen said.
Yeah, that's it. So, but now this match here, honestly, yeah, granted I should win. All right, straight up. But if I cut Dave any slack, I know Dave's a strong enough guy. He could. But the one thing that's going to hurt Dave is I'm still butt sore from my ass whooping from Matt Mask.
I watched that one.
The next two meets I have are you and Ryan Bowen. And if you think I'm going to give you an ass whooping, wait till you see what I do to Ryan Bowen.
That's awesome. You know, I called Ron. How this happened was like unexpectedly. I never even thought I'd be able to pull Ron Bath. I was supposed to pull James Clark.
Yeah.
And then, he got hurt. so then I was like, who could I pull? So I contacted Rex Forbes. I said, that'd be a cool match, a big guy, you know, and I pulled him before in Tennessee many years ago. He's hurt. And the Marshall's like, go big. He goes, go Ron Bath. I'm like, come on, Ron Bath ain't going to pull me. He's like, give it a shot. Like, I got nothing going that weekend. And I'm like, you know, if you want to do a side bet, Ron, you know, I said, I know it's a donation. I said, I probably got 99% chance of losing. And he laughs and says, give yourself some credit, buddy. He's more like 95% chance of losing, he said to me.
Well, David, because I do like you, and that's probably why I took it.
I appreciate it, Ron.
Figured, what the hell? You know, we'll go up, have a good time, and you'll be my warm-up for Ryan Bowen.
That's what I was thinking you would consider me as, but
trust me, I know what'll happen if I go up there and get complacent. I have that too much, so
I can say anything about myself.
That's right, Brandon's in the background, pissed off because I know Brandon wants to pull my ass.
I was just asking if you're gonna do any after pulling.
Oh, I'm sure we'll play.
I'm training right now. I got the band getting ready for you.
You worry about 6'6", 350 pounds, big boy. So, but no, I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate the invite. I'm glad the weather's looking good. I was a little worried about this time of year going north. Granted, I am a northerner, but I have lived down here a long time, so I don't like snow and cold. But it looks like a great weekend. You guys are supposed to be about the same temps we are. Sounds like a great card, so it should be a pretty good time. Good people, so I appreciate the invite. Thanks, Dave, and thanks, Marshall. And
I appreciate the opportunity.
I'll bring up everything I got.
And as far as myself go, like, you know, last 6 months been great. I mean, the last 6 months I won first place in West Virginia State, first place in Ohio State, and then I took first place another state, and then in Missouri I took second. Feel like I've gotten stronger. My weak spot's been side. I do some PR side pressure, so I think that if I get in my sweet spot, I think I might have something for Ron there if I can get there.
Oh, I'm not going to deny the fact you get in a sweet spot. You'll give me a fight.
That's right, but I got to get there first. I've been working on speed.
I might allow you to get there. Play at John Brzenk. If I'm up 2-0 easy, I might allow you to go to your sweet spot.
Well, all I can say is I appreciate that, but don't forget the Chance Shaw match when that happened.
I agree. Yeah, totally.
Just to add to it a little bit, this is another thing to watch with Dave. You know, maybe a guy pulled Dave 3 years ago or something like that, and he thinks, well, you know, this is Ron Bath. We all know how good he is. Maybe somebody pulled Dave 3 years ago and they think he's at that same level. Dave is not at the same level that he was 3 years ago. He's not at the same level he was 2 years ago. He's very much leveled up. So that's something to take into consideration in this match.
Oh, definitely. Nope, definitely going to do that. I'll make fun of it right now. So, but I'll be ready come Saturday.
It should be a good match. I mean, a lot of people are wanting to see this.
BJ, what up?
Hi, BJ.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man, to be honest, I almost forgot about it. I was ready yesterday.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah, here I am, though.
Mr. Sonny Gay is your opponent. What are your thoughts on that match, BJ?
Man, to be honest, I'm coming off of, I don't know, I don't want to call it the flu. You can probably hear it. I've been sick since last Monday, so I'm more or less worried about getting fluids and energy back in me to be ready for his big butt. But you know, I know Sonny's been around for a long time. I watch him and Carl pull at the Monster Factory. So I haven't seen a whole lot about him, but I know he's strong and I know he's tough and trains hard. So it's going to be a hard match, just like everybody else in this group. It's not going to be easy, and I'm going to show up and try to give a little bit better performance than I did last time, get my butt smashed by Daniel. So we'll see what happens.
He does that to all of us.
He's something else, boy. Yeah. That dude's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel who?
Sure.
Daniel Fenton.
The Viking.
Oh, his hand is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
There's something. I was hoping
he gave Jaggers all he wanted at Ohio State.
Yeah, I would have put my money on him all day. styles make matchups, but I would have lost some money on that one.
Yeah, it was a tight match, real tight.
Real
Yeah.
tight.
Billy, did you ref that one?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
a lot of them went. A lot of the wins were on fouls. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Strength wise, they were neck and neck. What's
Mhm.
up, Sonny?
In here.
Welcome, Sonny.
What's up?
There he is.
Welcome.
I'm here, dog. I'm here. Just
Yeah, got
Just
your
come-
opponent right next to you.
just come in, run in after work here. So
All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we're just getting everybody's thoughts on your matches. Anything you want to say or anything you want to bring up?
very excited. Blessed to be invited to the event. Looking forward to meeting and pulling with the one and only BJ Fokakis. Seems to be a beast. Been watching him for years, so it's a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine, brother. Pleasure's mine. It's gonna be a good time for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, always a good time.
Sonny and BJ, how long have you guys been pulling?
I started in 2000. My first tournament. Been pulling off and on since.
I'm in my 8th year now, so 8 years.
And then BJ, you're what, mid-30s?
No, I just turned 40. I'm old.
Oh, okay.
I just made the master's classes.
Look at that. And then you're just barely older than me. And then look at it. Nice dark beard. Ain't got nothing to worry about. Look at that. And then
That Southern food.
Yeah, there's some grays in there. Don't make me pull them out.
I don't think I need to pull mine out for anybody to see my grays.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. Can't wait.
Absolutely.
Can't come quick enough. So,
Marshall, is there anything else you want to go over with the main card?
Well, I think we covered most of it as far as the main card goes. Of course, that's going to lead up to a tournament, which is something else that we can talk about too. The level of competition and what to expect with the tournament.
How about your refereeing? Who do you have refereeing the main card matches, and how that's going to?
So we've got 5 different referees, and the referees for each match are going to be different, and it's going to be kind of based a little bit on geography and a little bit of on who rolls with who and who kind of practices with who, just so there are no conflicts, or we don't even want to be seen as having any conflicts. So it's on a case-by-case scenario. It's a little bit of a burden to the refs to be switching around like that, but at the same time, I think it's the right thing to do. So depending on your match, you'll have, maybe a couple of you will have the same referees, but they're going to be moved around quite a bit. And we've got a pretty good lineup of referees. Everybody that's doing it is experienced. They've been around plenty of time, so it really helps to add a little bit of credibility and get the right call. And we don't have to play this game where, we have, bad refs or something like that puts the match in question later.
Yeah. One thing I really appreciate about pullers whenever they come up to the table is they ask the cadence. They don't just assume what the cadence is. They ask what it is, and then that's something that I really see a lot of more experienced guys actually ask, so that way they can be ready for the go instead of trying to be a little bit late for it or whatever. But
yeah, and on a tournament side, we really want to get it right, with the reffing and the calls, and we'll have a pre-match meeting just so everybody's on the same page, and everybody knows the same things about what the rules are, and both refs and pullers.
Marshall, I don't know if you've seen the event that Kevin and I are having, but one thing that I'm doing for that one is for those super matches, we're giving the pullers options to either do strict reffing or loose reffing. Have you ever thought about maybe possibly doing something like that? or letting
I think maybe what we're doing is a little bit of a hybrid, because sometimes you'll look at the rules and you'll say, all right, well, we're going to go with like a AAA rule set, but maybe there's like this one thing or these two things that we kind of think need a little bit of attention, you know, in the rule sets. So, you know, me personally, like I'm not hypercritical of like a micro hop, for example. If there's a credit card worth of airspace between somebody's elbow and the pad, personally, you know, if there's no advantage in it, I don't know that it does any good to stop a match, but at the same time, you don't later on want this gaping hole on YouTube a year after the match where everybody says, wow, did you see the size of that elbow foul?
Right.
So I like the idea. And there are some guys that pull better under one or the other. You know, some guys know how to exploit the fouls perfectly, or, you know, that's part of the game too, is finding an advantage in the rule set. But I think we're probably somewhere in between the two of those things, to be honest.
What are you doing about slips? Is slipping in a losing position gonna be a loss?
So me as a tournament director, I mean, I don't set all the rules, but I kind of influence them maybe at the same time. And I've always been kind of skeptical of slipping in a losing position. You know, I feel like if it's obvious, and I know there's a criteria, and the refs know this better than I do, but I feel like if a guy is slipping in a losing position, I don't know, that's not a great thing. So we look at those maybe a little bit harder than some other tournaments do.
What's your thoughts on that, Ron, about slipping in a losing position?
If you got qualified refs to call it, fine. But sometimes you could be in a bad position in the top roll, and for the guy in the losing position, if his fingers are only being held and he takes off to try to thrust, he's going to come apart. Where do you make the call? In a sense, I'm for him because, you know, it's sort of it's a real gray spot on what to do. You don't like guys bailing just to stop being pinned, but at the same time, you don't want to take a loss if you're just trying to thrust and trying to save yourself. I think super matches, I think, should be a little bit different than tournaments. Maybe a little more looser in a super match. That's only because I think you're going to get me in the losing position and I got to get out.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get going. My 4-month-old son is upstairs. I want to go hold him before he goes to sleep. So thanks for having me.
All right,
See you, Brandon.
All right, guys.
Brandon, we'll see you Saturday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to meeting you, man. See ya.
See you, bud.
But it is interesting to actually break the rule sets into two completely different sets. I guess we'll find out how that goes. That's going to be at the same venue then, or at the same tournament, or same event where you're going to have that.
Mm-hmm. So for mine, it's the dog fights me and Kevin's putting on in June, but it's all super matches for that one. For tournaments, my opinion, I think all tournaments should be strict no matter what. All strict for tournaments. Yeah. And then what we're doing is some guys don't like pulling in loose reffing scenarios, you know what I mean? Because they kind of feel like, okay, well, if I pull nice and strict how I normally do, the other guy can get away with stuff that I wouldn't normally like initially just, you know, do on a general basis, you know? So I'm giving the guys opportunities to either do dogfight rules, which is just USAA, you know, kind of expounded, you know what I mean? You just give a little bit more leeway on each item, or, you know, just strict like I normally do for the tournament. So we're just letting the pullers decide that, you know.
I feel like a lot of that matters at the setup, you know, at the initial grip, you know, how strict it is. If it's a little bit looser, I think it really gives the guy who's good at manipulating that first contact maybe a little bit more advantage, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't go that way.
I personally like a little looser rule set myself. It just makes it a little more interesting to me.
Oh, it definitely makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Well, just from an expediency factor, you have to keep things moving. So if you're too strict, you know, it can really slow things down just in general as far as the show goes. But at the same time, you want to make the right calls and not cheat anyone.
Well, that's like popping your elbow. I don't pop my elbow very much at all, but yet there's times you sometimes got to just move your elbow over just a little bit because you're feeling pressure. And you don't gain no advantage. You just take some pressure off your elbow that could have allowed for got you injured. And then there's just stuff that just happens quickly. So I'm a big one that if it's just a little bump of the elbow, sometimes that's just a lot of pressure. And it's not, to me, it's not worthy of a call unless you gained a lot of advantage.
The pads on the tables are different too. And some of the pads, they push down a little bit and you would never see the lift, and others have a little bit more of a firm pad and it'd be a little bit more obvious. Yeah.
But that's where you got to have refs. You just got to explain it, and just everybody's got to live. The refs aren't, they're not perfect. They're not God. So they're going to make errors. They're going to make calls, and the pullers just got to learn to live with the calls the refs make, and you got to hope the refs are impartial.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy
because
to
you've done your fair share of repping there, Ron, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done a lot, and honestly, the last years it's probably gotten worse, more for the rookies than anything else. But reffing's a tough job. I'll be honest. If you think you can make the calls refs can make, and if you like to complain about refs, do yourself a favor. Go ref a tournament one time, and you'll change your opinion about reffing.
Oh, 100%.
Reffing arm wrestling is tough.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when it's a long tournament. There's a lot going on. I mean, there's a fatigue factor for refs just like there is for athletes. And maybe you might even say that the refs are doing more than arm wrestlers.
Yep. No,
I find that I don't like to ref and pull at all. Like, it's not fun.
No, the pull and ref is really tired. Usually, if I'm doing both, my day arm wrestling isn't very good.
Yeah. Right. I think in Billy and I, and anybody else who ever hosts a tournament, it's kind of the same way. I don't want to pull in a tournament that I'm having any kind of part in.
No, I don't think I ever pulled a tournament that I put on.
It's probably the right way to go.
I'm trying to get Urbano on the call, sending them.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey,
Bill.
Hey, what's up, Bill?
Sorry about
you guys see me?
Yeah, I can see everybody. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to cut out, but sorry about the internet there.
It's all right. Bill, thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate you coming to my event in November. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. I look forward to being there Saturday and pulling Greg and see how it goes.
What's your thoughts on that match?
Well, I beat him in April, but like everybody said, that was a year ago. Greg's 30 and I'm 60 this year, so he's got a little, but we'll see.
We don't know how to quit, do we, Bill?
No.
Though, is there anything more satisfying than being 60 and beating somebody half your age at arm wrestling? I mean, that's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's and Ron probably knows that as much as I do, or more than I do. I mean, but yeah, I got a friend Tony. Tony always wanted me to enter weightlifting competitions, but no, I look forward to coming to Ohio. I like Michigan, and absolutely, I have a lot of history with Greg's dad, Bill. I actually used to pull Bill Arnold a lot, and we'd go back and forth. So now I'm pulling his son.
Nice. They always say arm wrestling is if you can get into it early, you can spend a lifetime, pulling in the sport.
Yeah.
As Ron would attest to,
Yeah.
I've got a 6-year-old son who's pretty good, and then I got a 13-year-old son I think who's probably going to be pretty good at it too. So.
Oh yeah,
I can tell you, I've never had the
There he
benefit
is,
of
right
pulling
there. I
Mr.
see
Ballard.
him in the background.
Hey, there you are.
Yeah.
I can tell you, Ron's
kid.
arm don't feel 60.
When was that you guys pulled down at?
I agree with you, BJ.
I think it is, huh? But it's great talking to you guys. I'm going to cut out, but again, I look forward to seeing everybody Saturday.
Hey, Bill, we'll see you Saturday.
See you Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm out too, guys.
I'm going to sign out of here too, guys. We'll see everybody Saturday. Have safe trips, and we'll see you guys Saturday. BJ,
I'm gonna
look
feel
forward to
bad
seeing you, man.
You too,
See you
bro.
guys.
I'm out too, guys. Y'all be safe.
See you guys.
My.
Urbana, thanks for being here, brother.
Hey, I'm gonna get
Oh,
on
Paul,
too.
looks like I showed up late to the party, man.
Dave,
Yeah.
hey, who we got here?
This is the big guy I was telling you about.
Oh, this is the 6'6" guy. He doesn't look so big
365,
right there.
6'6",
How are you,
365.
Urbano?
6'8", 6'8".
6'8".
Oh, Brandon,
Dang.
Brandon, you got to get out of there.
Brandon already took off. He's like, I'm getting out of here before.
There's still
everybody gets there.
time, Brandon. You can get out of.
I told you.
Hey
when I
guys,
said
I'll
walking
let you
to
guys
Missouri,
catch up with that, and I'm out here. 5 o'clock comes early in the morning.
bye,
Dave,
Ron.
I'll see you Friday, Dave.
Look forward.
Nice
Thanks
meeting you,
again,
Ron.
Ron. Have a good
Thanks.
one.
Hey, I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, guys. Marshall, we'll see y'all later.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, Ron.
Urbana, what are your thoughts on your match, man? It's a pretty good opportunity you got.
Yeah, man. I'm amped. I'm ready. I feel strong. We'll see what happens. I got to pull him one time before. It was a good match. So I look forward to it. You know what I mean? I didn't think I was gonna get to pull him again, but here we are, a week away, right?
Yeah. You got well rested.
Yeah, I'm well rested right now. I pulled Illinois State. I only pulled left. It was okay.
That's good.
So yeah, a little confidence booster from there, but other than that, we're should be all set to be there in Ohio on Saturday.
I feel like from looking at the rankings that Urbano is probably the most practiced arm wrestler, you know, as far as actual competitions go. Every time I turn around, he's at another state championship. He's very active. So that's got to help because you don't have the ring rust. You know, you're very active.
Yeah, it's helped me get better in just the short amount of time that I've been pulling. So
How many years do you have experience?
put like 2 years on me.
Yeah, just imagine what in another 2 years he's going to be doing.
Yeah,
you know, in 2 years he's already winning a lot at state championship level.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Urbana, my question for you is, do you have a press?
I do have a press. And I don't want to have to use the press because it's not what I prefer to do, but I feel like that's an angle that will accommodate me if I have to use it. So yeah, it was definitely something that I thought about using the press, but I'm going to try and do what I always do. I'm not going to switch anything up unless I have to. So
well, it's good that you can pull in each spot, which is nice.
Yeah, it should be fun. Like I said, I'm more so just I'm more excited just to see other people's matches. I try to think less about what I'm gonna do. I'm more excited to see like Dave and Ron and like all the other matches before me. So I'm not trying to really overthink what I'm gonna do, man. To be honest,
I got you.
Yeah, I'll let it. I'm gonna let it play out, but I mean, hopefully he doesn't think it's gonna be an easy day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a long day for him. It's going to be a long day for both of us. I plan on you guys it's going to be a tournament afterwards, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like the tournament will be almost representative of the super matches. I mean, it's going to be a very competitive tournament in addition to competitive matches.
Yeah. Excited to pull. I'm happy to be on the card. Yeah, I was at the tournament last year, or what I think it was last year.
Yeah.
When I pulled up with Chris Jellens and a bunch of Illinois guys. They just were like, Chris was talking to me about it because me and Chris train, and I was like, yeah, for sure, I got to see you pull Steve Green. I was like, that's gonna be awesome, for sure. But that's why I was like, I'm always traveling and competing because I'm a fan of the sport. I got 2 years in, and you know what I mean, just I got bit by the bug.
Oh,
Are you a Wisconsin guy, Urbano? Are you across the line in Wisconsin there?
No, I'm in the city. I'm almost by Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Heck yeah. Well, I know, you know, a lot of people are looking forward to the event. You know, a lot of big names are going to be there. Marshall's put a ton of work into this, you know, and I know Ohio Arm Wrestling is very appreciative of everything that you're doing, Marshall. We really do.
Yeah, appreciate that. We're trying, you know, and I think we're an arm wrestling state. I think, you know, if you look at the level of the events, you know, a few years ago we hardly had any, and they've really come up. Now it seems like nobody really even wants to put on an event unless they can put on a good one. So I think it's mission accomplished as far as arm wrestling in Ohio goes.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You know, we've definitely been putting in the work past few years, and you know, Ohio is benefited from all the work that all the arm wrestlers and the tournament directors put in. It's really nice.
And location, you know, location wise, we're in a good place too. I-75, the turnpike, you know, we've got airports, so we've got all the things. You know, we're not really a dead end, and Michigan's got a pretty good program to the north of us too, so we benefit a little bit from that. Yeah, I feel like so.
Oh yeah, definitely. But is there anything else that you wanted to go over about your event this weekend? You want to give everybody watching the address and time and everything?
Yeah, the event is 1950 South Eber Road, Holland, Ohio, which is just west of Toledo. So you don't have to worry about getting into city traffic or anything like that. It's 5 minutes off the turnpike, and it's 15 minutes off I-75. It's an easy drive. It's easy to get to. The parking is right outside the building. You don't have to worry about parking garages or anything like that. There's a big parking lot, you know, right outside the building. You just park and come on in, get registered. So it's very accessible. And if you do have any problems, if anybody has any trouble, call me, get a hold of me, do whatever. We'll pick you up. We'll find you. We'll tell you how to get there, whatever. The tournament itself, you know, maybe something that's worth talking about a little bit is that we're going to try to keep the amateurs amateur. One thing that I've heard a lot is guys will leave a tournament after maybe their first experience, and they'll say, well, gee, you know, I entered the amateur competition. I didn't know there were going to be experienced guys and ringers in there. And we're not going to have any of that. So the way we have it set up is 2 years of practicing maximum, and 6 tournaments maximum for an amateur. So a lot of these guys are going to be first time pullers, you know, or they're going to be under that 2 years of arm wrestling threshold, which should really help, just so that it doesn't leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth that they, you know, they thought that they had unfair competition or unfair levels of competition. And also along with that, we're going to be moving everybody up that needs to be moving up into the pros. Some of these guys been hanging out just a little too long, in my opinion, in the amateur side, and it's time to move it up to the next level. So we want to, you know, kind of help with that. And I think after 2 years and after 6 tournaments, they can kind of intelligently defend themselves against a more experienced arm wrestler or a stronger arm wrestler.
Yep, you got to start taking your licks.
Yeah, and then the tournament, of course, the pro tournament. You know, a lot of the guys that are pulling in the super matches are going to be pulling in the tournament. And I know, you know, like Wayne Withers is going to be coming up, and he'll be in there. And I think we're going to have some pretty solid competition. And there's going to be some pretty good pullers. And I don't know, just expect a pretty good turnout. So we'll see what happens, of course. But
are you able to live stream it?
You know, so this year I've actually decided not to do that. And the reason is that I feel like sometimes attendance suffers when we live stream everything. It's just too easy. I would like to have that option for people who are maybe have family out of town or something like that. But I think we're moving back to more of a traditional old school format where if you want to hear about it, you're going to hear about, somebody's going to tell you about it, or you got to be there. You know, I don't I don't want to make it too easy for people to stay home. I want to get people out, because that's what really makes the events good, is when we have attendance. This sport just really relies on attendance. And I feel like the live streams have kind of been detrimental to that.
I can see that. I can see that. Is there anything else you want to bring up for the event?
I think that's got it. Just safe travels, and if anybody needs anything or wants to know anything, just get a hold of me. And I'd like to have everybody just encourage anybody who's on the fence, to come on out, especially if they're close by. It's a good tournament, and it's a good opportunity to really see where you're at against some guys that you may never ever get a chance to pull elsewhere. So
yep.
really just want to push and encourage everybody who's coming to, tell your friends, tell your family, everybody come on out. We've got a lot of space. We could seat 500 people in this building. So, just come on out.
Cool. All right, guys. Anybody else have any other words of encouragement? All good to go. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody's time. Thanks, Marshall, for putting on the event. Like I said, if you guys are able to get out to the Buckeye Mega Brawl in Toledo this weekend, be sure to be there. Take your friends and family with you. Marshall, thanks again for putting on the event. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Dave, Greg, Urbano. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody that was here on the show. Everybody have a wonderful and blessed night, and God bless you guys.
Yeah, and thanks for hosting.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Bill. Appreciate
Likewise,
it.
man. Have a good night, guys.
You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks.
Safe travels, guys.